안녕하세요. I only know two words, and I'm going to use the other one at the end of my presentation. Thank you very much for the invitation to speak to you today. I'm David Wortley, I'm from the UK. I was the founding director of the Serious Games Institute at Tongmyong University in the UK, which was a surprise to me, to be truthful with you, because as your president said, games are very much associated with young people. And so I became director of the Serious Games Institute when I was 52 years old. So, you know, I was not exactly in the younger generation. The camera that I've just set up is a 360-degree camera. I hope you don't mind me using it for my presentation. I find it very useful because it not only videos me, it videos you as well. So when I play the video back, I can look at the audience and I can see who is asleep and who is awake. And it gives me some guidance as to whether my presentation is any good or not. I'm talking to you today about the role of games and gamification in tackling global challenges. If I can get the clicker to work. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that is me. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called 360 and 360 Immersive Experiences. And I'm also, quite surprisingly, a vice president of the International Society for Digital Medicine. And why that is surprising is because I don't have any background or training in medicine at all. And the reason why I was invited to be part of the International Society for Digital Medicine is because I've been practicing something called lifestyle medicine. And I use technology to help to change my behaviours, my exercise patterns, my diet, and gamification is a big part of that. And I think when I was invited to be part of the International Society for Digital Medicine, it was because of that, the use of gamification for improving health and well-being. It's something that I think would be quite useful for all of you. So, going backwards now, I'll go forward. Okay, so there's me. So the structure of my presentation today, I'm going to concentrate really just on global challenges, but you'll see that my belief is that gamification is universal. It applies to every human activity. And it's also very important, particularly today, in influencing behavioural change, and that's important for global challenges. I'm going to talk about gamification as well, so you may already have a lot of knowledge about gamification on your own ideas of gamification, but I'm hoping that when I finish talking to you, you maybe think slightly differently or have an expanded view of what gamification is. I'm going to talk about gamification in preventative healthcare, and the other challenge is climate change. Now, I'm going to turn my talk into a little bit of a game as well. So I'm trying to give you an incentive. I'm gamifying my presentation. The reward or the prize is a copy of my book. Right? Now, you don't earn that just by sitting here. You will have to listen to me because I'm going to ask a question at the end based on what I'm showing in my presentation. And the first person who gets the answer right will get a copy of my book. So I'm gamifying my presentation. Okay, so let's look at 3 global challenges. I'm really only going to talk about 2 because war is a bit of a sensitive subject, but I will touch on it briefly. But we have these really serious global challenges which are threatening the future of the world that we live in. Healthcare in the UK, many other countries, you're all wearing these face masks. That's an indication of the kind of challenge that we are facing with public health today, and the fact that there is not enough money in a lot of public health services to sustain them for the future. And if we don't take care of ourselves better, then health services will collapse. Climate change, we've already got COP27 in progress, talking about how we're going to reduce the global warming. And then, of course, we all know about the war in Ukraine and Russia. So, behavioural change, really, I believe, is at the heart of all of these things. And what I've observed, and it's my belief, that we live today in what I call a spectator society, which means that increasingly we don't feel that we are able to change things. And so we become spectators. We watch and we expect someone else to solve the problem. So when you're thinking about how to use games or how in any way to influence behaviour, there are a number of important factors. The first of these is whether the problem affects you. You're not likely to be involved in healthcare or in climate change if it doesn't affect you. And I got involved in healthcare almost by accident. And health wasn't a problem for me. It's just a combination of circumstances that led to me to gamify my own health. So it's important when you're designing games is to reflect on whether what the challenge that you're trying to create in your game affects the person. Can you do anything about it? And if you can do something about it, is it going to be worth it? What will it cost you to do something about it? And how will my actions make a difference? You're less likely to get involved if you don't think what you're going to do is going to make any difference. And finally, we have the selfish attitude is what's in it for me, which is a big driving factor for a lot of people. So what is a game? Now, I put a picture of a baby and an adult, and I believe the best human beings at gamification are babies. From the time they are born, they learn how to influence their parents' behaviour. And it's a base of trial and error. You know, babies can look cute, babies can cry, and they learn over a period of time how that affects their parents. And they use that, they learn that gamification, the results of their gamification, in their development, and they use it to try and influence the world around them. So even living creatures use gamification and games. So even anyone who's had a pet, a dog or a cat will know how that animal can influence your behaviour.